All right, hey guys, Jason here, Samco Workshop. Today we're going to be talking about used car market and why it's so risky today. This is becoming more and more of an issue, and it's nothing that we can do about it, and it's not our fault. This comes from manufacturers. This is becoming a problem. So, what do we know is risky about here? What makes it so scary to buy a used car today? We got a few things on here, as you can see. First off, is a 10,000 mile oil change recommendations. Okay, I cannot understand this 10,000 mile oil recommendation. It's because manufacturers just don't care. It's a marketing ploy. I did a whole video on this. It's called 10K My A. Was what the thumbnail looks like on there. Maybe I'll link it at the end of this for you. But that is going to cause a big problem. If you want to buy a car with 100,000 miles on it, you plan on keeping it for another 100,000 more. That oil change interval is going to be a big detriment to that. It's going to cause a lot of problems, and that's a shame. It's going to destroy the used car industry. And this has been going on now for quite a few years, whatever it is, 5, 6, 7, 8 years. And now that's starting to catch up with us because these 5, 6, 7, 8-year-old vehicles are the ones that are becoming used and are the ones that we're having a lot of problems with. And that 10K stupid oil change thing has a lot to do with it. It's really important that if you're going to buy a used car, a lot of people, very few people change their own oil today. Most people go somewhere to get it done. So hopefully that stuff is being done at a dealership where it's reported to Carfax. But I would do whatever you can to try to find any information you can on how many times or how often that oil is changed. That's a big one for me. There's a reason I don't buy used cars, and it's because I don't want to deal with any of this crap. I just buy them new, and I buy them low, and then I turn around and sell them a year or two later, or a year and a half, 2 years later. I don't lose much money on them, or I make money on them, and it's a win-win, and I don't have to mess with this. But I know there's a lot of people that don't do that, and they plan on buying a car used and driving it for a while. It's getting trickier and trickier today. Next one is repos. I'm going to put an article in here that you're seeing right here. I'll kind of skim through it as I'm talking about this. But repos are huge. Remember during COVID, everybody was upside down in their loans. Okay, everybody bought cars that were ridiculously too expensive. Interest rates have been high ever since. It's been an absolute nightmare. And people are upside down in their cars and they realize they can't pay them and they're getting them repoed. Those repo cars go to auction. Those repo cars at auction get sold to dealers who then turn around and are selling them as used cars. And the problem with them is once a person that owns it realizes they hate that vehicle, they hate how much it costs them, and they're willing to go through the trouble of go through and let it get repoed, that means that it gets abused for months. It gets left unmaintained. It doesn't get oil changes, doesn't get taken care of. Repos scare me tremendously. I'm not a fan of the repo deals, and yet they are everywhere. The market is flooded with repossessions because of everything going on today. Okay, it's a snowball effect, and it just gets, as that snowball runs downhill, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's becoming a whole world of problems here. Next one is lemons. Okay, we live in a time where Ford's got more recalls than any other company. We got every truck out there's got blown engines, cracked blocks, all sorts of problems. We got things happening to all kinds of vehicles everywhere, and a lot of them are being turned in for lemon law. They're being returned. They're being dumped off. What do you think happens to those? They get dumped out into the market, okay? Or they get traded into a dealership because they can't stand them. This guy's had 5 problems. Look at the guy that had the Toyota Tundra that had 3 motors in that new Tundra. He dumped it off to the dealer. He said, I'm done with it. Walking away. It's gone. What is that dealer going to do? They're going to take that car, and then they're going to turn around, put it on a lot, and sell it to somebody, not tell anybody about it, okay? And then that one is now out there as a used car. Okay, we see this stuff more and more with these issues that vehicles have that aren't getting resolved. They're just dumping the vehicle off, and then the dealer's not resolving the issue because the guy's not telling the dealer about it. It's not being solved, and then they're turning around and they're selling them right back out. Lack of care is another one. As every generation, and this is not a hit on anybody, every generation is dumber than a generation before, whether we think of it as that way or not. When it comes to common sense, skills, things like that, every generation is dumber. Okay, my grandma used to use a phrase: "Fine china raising teacup," or fine china raising teacups. Okay, that's what the world is. Every generation wants their kids to have it easier. Every generation wants their kids to be smarter, to not have to work as hard, to go to college. Every generation forgets all of the stuff in life that matters. Okay, no offense to college, no offense to having a silver spoon in your mouth, no offense to any of that kind of stuff, but there is a pride and a power in knowledge and skills. And the world doesn't have those anymore, especially when it comes to their car. Okay, most people don't even know where the air filter is on their car. Most people have no idea how to even change it. Yet the damage that can happen from that. Most people don't know that if you keep topping off your gas pump all the time, that you're going to screw up your evap system. Most people don't know. Most people don't know they have to change their oil quicker than every 10,000 miles that the manufacturer recommends. Most people don't know that you got to do this stuff. Okay, the vehicles are left to rot by not being taken care of. Most people will never wax a vehicle in their life today. Okay, most new owners of cars today will never even wax them. Why? Because they don't care. Okay, they don't care. It's like, it reminds me of the days of leased vehicles. We don't see leases too often anymore. But there was a time 10 years ago where everybody leased. Nobody cared about those leased cars. And then they're lease turn-ins and people buy them and they're freaking out because they're not working right. But there's people that are like, it's a leased vehicle. I leased it for 20 or for 10,000 miles a year for 3 years. That's 30,000 miles. They'll do one oil change in 30,000 miles and touch nothing else. So you had those issues, okay? Well, those are still out there, and there's a lot of concern for how lack of maintenance is done on there. Also, we got the design factor. Okay, vehicles today are disposable. They are 100% disposable. They are not built to last long like they used to be. You could go out and buy a 2023 Toyota Tacoma or a 2020 Tundra, and these things were built to last hundreds and hundreds of thousands of miles. Okay, they're not anymore. You go buy an F-150, a 2014 F-150 with a Coyote motor in there, and that thing with the the V8 in it, and that thing would run forever. Okay. Then in 2015, they come out with the 2.7 EcoBoost, and the world goes excited. The motor doesn't make it that far. You get like 250,000 miles on a max, and in that time, you got to put stuff into them. Okay, the new Tacoma that's out now, you're not getting 200,000 miles out of it without putting many thousands of dollars in it. Okay, people are like, what do you mean many thousands of dollars? I just did a video that is out there, and I'll link that at the end too. But I could be off by a smidge, but I think it was this. Okay, I think it's 46.58 is the average, and I might be off by 20 bucks. Okay, that is the average cost of a vehicle repair at a dealership. Not the cost of a transmission, not the cost of a motor, not the cost of a power steering system. This is the average, okay? Excuse me. This is the average cost of all service being done at a dealership on a vehicle in 2023. Prices are quadrupled and ridiculous. This price is insane. This price comes into a factor here that we have designed vehicles that are not designed to last or to work, and we got many of them in the shop. But let that sink in. So that brings us to this one. Okay, warranties. There is a big difference in warranties. Hold on a second. Sorry, I had to check my fire. I'm burning stuff in the yard. Warranty availability. You cannot get a manufacturer warranty, which is the only warranty that I think it matters. Okay, all the other ones like Car Shield and all that stuff, they're scams and they're junk, and I'm not a fan. No offense to them. And if you have one and it's been good luck for you, great. But I've heard the horror stories are unbelievable. I'm not a fan of these aftermarket ones. Allstate, I believe Allstate Insurance offers a pretty good one that I've heard is pretty decent, but it's very hard to find quality aftermarket warranties. Now, the factory warranties are great, but you can only get one up to 36,000 miles. After you break 36,000 miles, you cannot get a factory extended warranty. So it becomes an issue for you. So being able to put a warranty on your used car today makes it very tough. Because of this, I would not go without this. They are hand in hand, okay? So you got to take that stuff into consideration. So in my opinion today, used cars are risky. I'm not telling you not to buy one. And then we have the seventh one that I did not even put on here that I should have. And I'm a fool for not doing it, so we're just going to fit it right here. I don't know how I missed this. I apologize. But that is this right here. Rate, okay? The rate that you are going to pay. So let's say that a new car, you're going to be able to get a new car right now. Let's just say that it's 7%, okay? Sorry, forgive me. Again, I'm sideways and upside down. On a new or on a used car, it's probably going to be 11%, okay? So it's going to screw you up completely. You're going to pay a lot more for it, and that's with good credit. But interest rates on used are always much higher, and your payment's going to be higher because on this one, let's say that you could go 72 months, which I would never do, but let's say you could go 72. On this one, you might only be able to do 36. Okay, so your payment is not going to be much different than new. So in my opinion, used is a very tricky, scary kind of a place that you got to really dive into and understand if you want it or don't. But if you do, dot your I's, cross your T's, really pay attention and do your research on that vehicle. Carfax is good. Make sure you get that. Make sure you get every record and maintenance thing you can. If your intention is to buy a used vehicle and keep it for a long time, do it. And also avoid or be very cautious on low mile, newer used vehicles. Because we know those too. Lower mile, newer vehicles that are low mile. Anybody, come on, tell me what they are. You guys are here. Fire it off. You're probably screaming at your computer. What is a low mile, newer used vehicle? It's this right here. That's what it is. Now, what will it say on the Carfax? One owner. Okay, you see that and you're like, woohoo, one owner. What you don't see is that one owner is Enterprise. Okay, or Avis, something like that. Okay, now we'll check a box that says rental on there. It will be checked, but you'll see this, and most people will see it and say, one owner, it's good. One owner, no accidents, we're good, take it. You got to look through the rest of it, see who that owner is. If it's Avis, Enterprise rental car, Hertz, okay, that kind of stuff, it's a rental. If it was a dealer demo, okay, you'll see that stuff. You got to be careful. A lot of manufacturers or dealers will take in an F-150 and they have it and they sell it as a dealer demo, okay? And I love it when they tell you, oh, it's a dealer demo. Well, what is a dealer demo? Oh, that just means that if we need to go grab lunch or something, we take it. Or if we want to make a video on it, we'll drive it and make a video on it. Okay, so running back and forth to the gas stations and stuff, it's got 1,800 miles on it. Yeah, it's no big deal. You're good. Okay. What they're not telling you is that really what that rental means is when somebody brings in their F-150 King Ranch or Limited, and it's got an issue with it, they're going to say, hey, well, we fixed it. Take this one for 4 or 5 days. Use ours. And one that you think is just sales guys running back and forth to the coffee shop, no. It's actually like 15 or 25 different people that are riding it like a rental and beating it up. Is it a good deal still? Sometimes they are. Sorry, I'm sweating like crazy. It's 90 degrees here, South Georgia. But you got to take that into consideration. So hopefully this just gives you a little bit of tips to, and information on why the used market sucks so bad right now. It is such a scary place. And my job is to educate you so you don't get taken advantage of. And hopefully this video helps do that. Thanks for watching.